You're watching the 4 o'clock news on Oklahoma's News 4.
I can't believe it. It's got to be horrible.
Neighbors in shock. 3 people dead. The latest on the disturbing discovery.
And desperately needing money. The state agency that needs cash right now to avoid layoffs.
Also a gruesome discovery. The evidence: a missing Oklahoma woman was murdered. Thanks for joining us here at 4. I'm Jolene Cheney.
And I'm Eli Roberts. A father and 2 children are dead in what investigators are saying is a murder-suicide.
The bodies found behind an abandoned mobile home just north of Ripley. And just within the last hour, we have learned the name of the father. Officials say Jackie Boyles killed himself and then his 2 little girls. News 4's Kelly Roliar just filed this report.
It's devastating.
J.B. Argo woke up to the horrifying news Wednesday morning. A man and 2 children dead, and it happened just up the road from him. He claims he knew the entire family, especially the killer's parents. He says all of the memories with the father are good.
I met them right after I moved in here, and I mean, anything I needed, any help I needed, whatever, they were there. He's a retired firefighter. He's a real nice guy. I know they got to be devastated. I mean, I feel so bad for him, and I hurt so hard and inside for him. It's just unbelievable.
The Payne County Sheriff's Office says they received information about a missing persons case out of Lincoln County late Tuesday. When deputies went to the last known location of the man off Highway 108 and 56th Street, they found the victims.
Cute little kids, the pictures I've seen. I can't believe it. It's got to be horrible.
Biargo says as a grandfather himself, he was overwhelmed thinking about what the man's parents are going through after losing a child and 2 grandchildren.
I just said a little prayer for him because I know Troy and Imogene are really good people. And I just went to my great-grandson's first birthday.
What a terrible story. And coming up tonight at 5, the neighbor's family. The neighbors do have a message for that family.
Also a gruesome discovery in McCurtain County. The body of a woman missing for 6 weeks has been found. The case now being investigated as a homicide. 56-year-old Roxy Fazy was last seen on February 25th. Last night, her body was found in a creek west of Valiant. A chain wrapped around her neck, her hands tied. Investigators say they were only able to make a positive ID today using fingerprints. We're told there are no suspects at this time. Now to the state capitol, where they're desperately seeking some funds right now.
That's right. The State Office of Management and Enterprises Services says it is $16 million in the red, and they need cash right now. News 4's Brent Skarkey is at the state capitol. And Brent, the agency said to you earlier that if they don't get that money, furloughs are on the way.
Well, it is a definite possibility. You know, the OMES basically functions as the state's IT department. And ironically, it's rising IT costs that the agency says has them in financial dire straits.
According to members of the State Appropriations Committee, the Office of Management and Enterprise Services came to them earlier in March asking for $16 million in additional state funding to pay outstanding vendor bills. This week, OMES members went in front of the committee. They say without extra cash by April 1st, they could be forced to furlough as many as 50 employees. OMES officials blaming increasing IT costs on the shortfall. Appropriations Committee members asking why they are just hearing about this now.
What concerns me about this is the lack of cash flow, the lack of invoices being paid to the vendors, and plus people paying OMES has been going on for a while, and the legislature did not know about it. And I think we need to know about it before it becomes a crisis situation.
Well, Senator Thompson also tells me there should be enough money in some rainy day funds associated with the OMES that the furloughs probably will not happen. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll hear from the OMES themselves, have their take on exactly what is going on within their agency. From the state capitol, Brent Skarkey, Oklahoma's News 4.
All right. Thank you, Brent, for that. As multiple investigations continue, agencies around the world are looking into exactly what happened with that Boeing 737 MAX 8 jetliner.
Tonight, for the first time since 2 deadly crashes just after takeoff, we're hearing from the company's chairman, president, and CEO.
With the 737 MAX still firmly on the ground, the focus of multiple investigations, we're learning much more now about 2 fatal crashes involving the jetliner. Citing sources with knowledge of information on the flight voice recorder, Reuters is reporting that before the Lion Air crash that killed 189 last October, pilots were desperately poring over a handbook while fighting to keep the plane in the air. NBC News did not have access to the flight recording or transcript. And according to a report from Bloomberg, a day before the accident on another Lion Air flight, an off-duty pilot riding in the cockpit recognized a problem with the MCAS flight control system and told the crew how to disable it. That information comes as investigators continue to examine data that indicates a faulty sensor ordered the jet to dive during this month's Ethiopian air crash, and whether pilots had the necessary training to respond to the emergency.
Safety is at the core of who we are at Boeing.
Speaking publicly for the first time since the accidents, Boeing's CEO says the company is committed to understanding how and why they happened.
We're united with our airline customers, international regulators, and government authorities in our efforts to support the most recent investigation, understand the facts of what happened, and help prevent future tragedies.
Boeing has now suspended delivery of all new MAX jetliners. Jay Gray, NBC News.
And now it's time to check in with Kevin Ogle in the Sky Center. Kevin, what you got?
Well, Eli, today, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, who of course was recently caught up in that prostitution scandal, is considering a plea deal, but there's a very big catch here. He has to admit the prosecutors have the evidence to convict him if they wanted to. The billionaire businessman and about 24 others getting this letter from Florida prosecutors spelling out the offer, which includes admitting the evidence would be enough to convict, getting screened for sexually transmitted diseases, and a $5,000 fine and 100 hours of community service. So far, neither Kraft or his attorney have publicly commented on the plea deal, but a lawyer representing some of the other men charged say the deal could have professional consequences.
Anybody that has licenses or careers at stake may be forced not to accept it.
Kraft, who denies doing anything illegal, has 9 days to accept or reject the plea. If he accepts the Florida State Attorney Office plea, says he will have to show up in court. That's what prosecutors are saying. Of course, we will continue to follow it. That's all from the Sky Center. Back to you.
Thank you, Kevin. Also in today's news, a homeowner's slithering problem.
Yeah, this is a really wild situation. Dozens of rattlesnakes living under that guy's house. Yeah, there they are. In Texas, of course, the big country snake removal company sharing this video on their Facebook page. We are told the deadly snakes were discovered after the homeowner went into his crawl space to check out his cable. Jolene can't look at the screen.
I'm not looking right now. I'm not.
He quickly crawled out after seeing what he thought were just a few snakes. Turned out there were a lot more. 45 in total rattlesnakes living right under the house.
And they were alive.
They are alive. They're right there. Take a look. Anyway, the owner says he has seen worse. One time, get this, there were 88 snakes in one haul. Quite a lot.
Now to California, where police use a pit maneuver to bring an end to a chase, but then the driver decides to bust a few moves on his own with police guns drawn on him. The suspect steps out of the car, then he starts dancing. Like, there he goes.
Breakdancing.
Yeah, in the middle of the street. He suddenly stops, appears to start listening to officers who quickly take him into custody.
Yeah, well, so back to Texas, where a rancher decided to test out Petco's claim that all leashed pets are welcome.
Not.
Yep, it happened. It's not a comfort crocodile, it is a pet steer. This oversized guy is a giant African want-to-see. Is that how you say it?
Watusi steer?
His name is Oliver. You can see him ambling all over the store, but don't worry, he's got his leash on, so he is legal according to Petco. Employees who work there welcomed the bull, who, by the way, weighs 1,600 pounds. I'm surprised he didn't go right through the tile.
I'll text my grandpa on the name of that, Watusi.
Yep, he's legal at Petco.
All right.
Take him there.
Parents all over the country getting terrifying phone calls right now.
Yeah, officials say the calls are targeting children, claiming that they've been kidnapped.
The other person on the line was threatening to slit her throat.
It's bad. What you need to know to keep your family safe.
And it is the season for sneezing. What you can do to beat spring allergies.
Plus, get ready for the waterworks, the tearful father-son reunion. how this dad was able to pull over his homecoming surprise.
Was murdered. I'm Jolene Cheney.
And I'm Eli Robb. In today's health check, battling allergies. And that's because spring is officially here. And you know what that means?
Yes.
It means lots of blooming trees and flowers.
Which can be beautiful, but of course miserable for a lot of people who suffer from seasonal allergies.
But there are some things that you can do to get through the next few months. Experts at the Mayo Clinic suggest staying indoors when the pollen counts are high. And they also say, let other people do the yard work. And while it may be tempting to have the windows open, experts also say you're better off running the AC instead. They also say you should make sure that you change those air filters. It is also suggested that you shower in the evening so you can help keep all the pollen out of your bed. And now's also a good time to stock up on some over-the-counter allergy medications. If you are one of those people who has a really difficult time at this time of year, you can also try washing out your nasal passages with saline.
Forewarn Weather is sponsored by Newcastle Casino. Now, Forewarn Weather with Aaron Brackett.
It's a cooler day out there today after that cold front came through, gave us some rain this morning. Now lots of sunshine, and that'll actually pave the way for a nice afternoon and a really nice day tomorrow. We do have some wind to talk about, though, and low humidity. I want to take you up to near Woodward here, where we're watching a moderately sized grass fire. This appears to be near the town of Woodward, just off to the north of it, actually. And winds in this area, despite the stopped wind turbines, are about 23 miles per hour. That's what we're seeing for gusts. We're going to monitor this very carefully. There's actually 2 wildfires visible on satellite in Woodward County itself. So you can see the smoke not going straight up. It is getting carried off to the southeast. So again, we'll watch that carefully for our friends up there in northwestern Oklahoma. All right, so today in Oklahoma City, actually that is not what we had today. That was yesterday. 60 was the temperature right now. That will be close to our high for the day. 60 in Clinton, 66 in Altus. It is a little bit warmer off into southwestern Oklahoma, but pretty much uniform temperatures central and northern parts of the state. All right, so steady wind speeds. They're in the teens, about 14-mile-per-hour wind in Oklahoma City, 16 in Woodward, but yet in those gusts up to about 23 or 24 miles per hour. And yes, we do have some fire spread conditions up there right now. As you look at the satellite, you can see just a couple of those fair weather clouds behind that system lazily moving through our state. No rain. That has gone now into parts of Arkansas, Tennessee, and southern Illinois. That's the tail end of that system. However, already watching our next one. This brings quite a bit of rain here for our weekend and even the possibility of some severe weather here in the forecast. You can see it spiraling its way up through parts of California, giving them some rain. So let's kind of go through this here hour by hour. As we go into tonight, clear skies. Temperatures will fall pretty good here with dry humidities in place. Here's 10:30 tonight, clear skies border to border. Here's tomorrow, a lot of sunshine, and finally a couple degrees warmer for the first full day of spring on your Thursday. 2 p.m. no clouds. We start to see some clouds slowly coming in here as we look toward Friday morning. And by Friday afternoon, here's the first wave of that system. It gives us some showers and thunderstorms, mostly to western Oklahoma, an increase in clouds here in central parts of the state. Wave 1 comes through early Saturday. We take a break, and then another wave of showers and thunderstorms. That will be here Saturday afternoon. I want to focus, though, on Sunday here. Yeah, showers and thunderstorms, non-severe Saturday, but Sunday, despite some clouds and some morning rain, we actually become more unstable. We get more of those strong and severe thunderstorm ingredients. This is 6 p.m. A sharp line of thunderstorms here extending from Oklahoma City down to the Red River. Well, here's what we have for ingredients. A jet stream up above. You need that. An area of low pressure, that'll be nearby. And we have a dry line with dry air behind it, moist air coming in from the east. And near that dry line, as we know here in Oklahoma, we'll fire up some of those thunderstorms in the afternoon. Again, a lot can change here. It's going to be one of those days where if we clear things out more in the day, that'll heat things up, make it more unstable, and give us a greater thunderstorm potential. So that's down the road. Keep it in the back of your mind. 10 p.m. tonight, 52 degrees in OKC, 49 in Enid. And overnight, these are our low temperatures. No freezing temps, but still cool out there with many 30s, upper 30s rather, for low temps. And here's tomorrow afternoon. Despite a light, very light northeasterly breeze, we get some nice territory temperature-wise. 66 in OKC, almost 70 in southwestern Oklahoma. And by Friday afternoon, again, here comes that first little bit of that storm system. It gives clouds in central Oklahoma by the afternoon, rain out west, could be a couple rumbles of thunder. Nothing severe on Friday, but on Sunday, again, it is a slight risk extending from Oklahoma City, basically down to the Red River. All modes of severe weather possible, hail, high winds, maybe even some tornadoes. Again, it's still down the road. Got a lot more rain than this here on our extended forecast. That comes your way right after this break.
Tell me when.
Take today and add about 5 or 6 degrees, then you have tomorrow's forecast. First full day of spring, right around average. It's going to be gorgeous out there. Light winds, 70 on Friday. We don't get the rain until early Saturday here, possibly another dose later on. And then looking at severe weather potential for Sunday, 73 degrees there. If we get warmer, that will increase the chance of thunderstorms. Cool on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. We're back at more almost daily thunderstorm chances. We'll have to watch for severe threat, of course, as we continue deeper into spring. That becomes more of a thing around here in Oklahoma. Guys, much more coming up. Back to you.
And of course, the first day of spring is actually cooler than the last day of winter anyway. So our next story never gets old. A soldier surprises his son posing as his sparring partner.
Oh, this never gets old. The 9-year-old, he had no idea the man on the other side of his blindfold was his dad until he heard his nickname. Take a look.
Come on, Shib. Come on. So what we got?
Daddy?
Little boy struggles to get the blindfold off there before he jumps into his dad's arms. Of course, tears start. Dad had spent the last 10 months serving in Jordan and southern Syria. He came home a few days earlier than expected.
Very cool. Well, switching gears to a new warning about a scam.
Investigators say it is making its way across the country and it's targeting parents. Here's Heather Holman with the story. Everybody's talking about Heather.
Yeah, this is called virtual kidnapping, and authorities say it's happening more frequently with 2 new cases in Southern California just this week alone.
Imagine this. A stranger calls and says he's kidnapped your kid and you only have moments to act. That's exactly what Kathy Gross says happened to her.
I was 100% certain it was her. She was hysterical, crying, "Mom, I need help." They took me, they put me in a van.
The voice wasn't her daughter's, but sounded convincing enough. It was another detail that tipped her off that it was all a scam.
A man's voice came on the line and said, "You better not call anyone, Missy, you better not hang up. We have him."
But Jordan is Gross's daughter, not her son. That small slip-up was more proof of a scam.
It's frightening. There's no limits to what they're going to say to scare you to death and get you to send money.
Local authorities say last week there were 2 other similar cases in her community. Federal investigators say scammers have been targeting hundreds of affluent families all across the country. The calls likely coming from inmates in Mexican prisons.
They're learning your child's name, they're learning where your child goes to school, and then they refer to your child by name.
Investigators say a lot of that information may be coming from your own social media. Some calls appear as unknown numbers. Other scams are much more sophisticated. Olympic swimming legend Rowdy Gaines and his wife got a call from what looked like their daughter Madison's cell phone.
It popped up her face and her number, so I would have no reason to believe that it was not her.
The other person on the line was threatening to slit her throat.
Across the country, the same group of scammers were trying to extort money from Madison. When Gaines demanded to speak to her, the scammers briefly connected the 2 calls.
She said, "I'm okay, but I need help."
That was all Gaines needed to hear. He set out to meet the scammers' demands, recording some of it on his cell phone. But he grew suspicious when they asked for payment in gift cards. His wife called 911 and found out it was all a hoax. If you get one of these calls, the FBI says try to take these steps. Slow the situation down by asking for more time to get the money. Meantime, try getting a hold of your loved one using a separate phone. Ask questions only your child would know. And finally, call police and the FBI.
And authorities say this is a really hard crime to trace. There have been some arrests made here in the U.S. of people working with some of these scammers who call from those Mexican jails. But because they use contraband phones, tracking them is pretty difficult. The best thing you can do is protect yourself by talking to your family about it ahead of time and even come up with a family code word. My girls and I have one, or questions and answers that only your loved ones would know. Guys.
Wow, sick people who would come up with that. Heather, thank you. Also today, keeping senior drivers safe on the roads.
It is a concern for a lot of families, too. Coming up in our next half hour, what you should look for to know your loved ones are ready to drive and the adjustments they should make to stay safe.
Plus, a contraband bust at an Oklahoma prison. Tonight at 5, what tipped off authorities and the unlikely items found inside the suspect's car.